We are live. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2. Go Nintendo Podcast, webisode 944, the Shroodle Podcast. MomBrain, will you tell us about Shroodle, please?
I sure will. Shroodle.
Shroodle. That was a good one. Wow. Mount Summit from Aldi produces fine belches.
Fine belch. Shroodle. Though usually a mellow Pokemon, it will sink its sharp poison-soaked front teeth into any that anger it, causing paralysis in the object of its ire. Oh, wow. They're not even a foot tall. They're a pound and a half. They're male and female, and the category is, of course, toxic mouse, which is the same category as the mouse Fudge,
Oh,
who was
don't
at our
say that.
house.
It wasn't
Toxic.
well,
Could have been.
I don't think it was toxic.
I was
but
the only one brave enough to really get in
It
there.
touched me. It touched me. Ran across my feet. And I'm here to tell the tale. So I don't think it was toxic. What are you looking at? What's going on?
The ends of your bracelet.
That's your doing. That's your craftsmanship. Please finish the Pokemon. Then we can spar.
Abilities include Unburden, which boosts the speed stat if the Pokemon's held item is used or lost, and Pickpocket. If the Pokemon steals
The Pokemon.
the Pokemon steals the held item from attackers that make direct contact with it.
Thanks, MomBrain.
This is the end of the Pokemon section.
I appreciate it. May I have my device back, please? Thanks so much.
You're welcome so much.
Well, first things first. You're hearing me.
Welcome to your doom.
You're hearing MomBrain. You're not hearing Nikki Hill, and you're not hearing Dew, and it's because I'm just gonna be honest. We had a fight, and we're no longer friends. No. Nikki Hill is working. Dew is under the weather today. MomBrain. So feel better soon. Dew. And Nikki Hill.
It's probably my fault that he's sick.
I hope work's going great. Well, without divulging too much information, I don't think it's that kind of sick.
Oh.
I don't think.
Yikes.
Man, I think you're going to talk and I take a sip of water and you got nothing.
Well, I mean,
I was there. That's what I was
pretty
for.
sick last week.
I don't know. I mean, you were sick, certainly, definitely, 100%, but you make it sound like it's like dire straits.
No.
Did you say last week? It was this week.
This past week.
Yeah, this week. We're still in it. It's Saturday.
Okay.
Sunday is the start of a new week.
Please excuse me for trying to be precise.
Earlier this week, MomBrain was on the verge of passing away.
Sure.
There you go. Go, MomBrain, please.
Really, you felt you
Come
were
on now.
better at telling it.
Go, it's me and you. No, I just go ahead. I love your storytelling. You got to come up to the microphone.
That's all. I'm better now.
What were your ailments?
A cough and congestion and a mild fever.
What counts as mild? Because what's normal temperature? 98.6?
For me, it's like 97.2.
So you were up to 99 plus.
Yeah.
So is that
fever
mild?
at school? Like, we don't consider it a fever that is like real bad until I think it's like 100. I think it's like 101.
108. 109.
I think 101 is like a fever. So just a cold.
I mean, you're still a little gunked up, but you are much better than you were.
Yeah. And I was tired. I came home from work and just
what to know. And I'd like to point out that I am fit as a fiddle.
Mm-hmm.
I do not get sick. I very rarely get sick.
Well, you don't leave the house.
But I'm with you.
Yeah.
I leave the house when you leave. We left the house yesterday.
I know, but I'm at school.
I'm a big goer, outer doer.
Okay.
When you're not here, when you're working, I do GoNintendo stuff at other places. I go to Josh, please. I go to I work out of a mobile office, so it's Wegmans sometimes and Whole Foods sometimes.
This is the biggest bunch of bull shovel I've ever heard in my life.
Sometimes I go set up in a park, work on 5G. It'd be my
Outside.
favorite. I'd
Yeah.
love it. Go sit in the sun and work. Yeah.
Mhm.
The sun glaring down in my eyes while I'm
Mhm.
looking at my
Mhm.
laptop. I love it.
Mhm.
I love it. Well, Mom, whoa. What is going on? MomBrain's doing all kinds of things with the microphone I've never seen before.
Here I am.
Well, MomBrain, I'm happy to hear you're pretty much back to normal.
Are you?
Why would you say that? What's this? Oh, I know what it is. MomBrain just woke up from a nap a
Yep.
little while ago,
Yep.
so she's a little bit fussy.
A little while ago. Yeah, I guess it is now. Like at 3 o'clock, my alarm went off and woke me like out of a dead. I mean, and I only talk to about myself like I'm a baby. I only went down at about three
You
or
know,
2.
I could have done the podcast on my own. You didn't have to come do it.
Yeah, right.
What do you mean?
Yeah, right. You could do it on
You
your
need
own.
more sleep.
Balonskis.
You're being so gruff.
I was up real early. That's not true. I was real busy all morning running
Who's
around.
the one telling tall tales this day?
I-
Listen, I told you last night if you wanted to go out, it was going to be a late night, and you were like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And I was like, "This is out of the ordinary for her."
I did it.
You did.
I'm
it.
not complaining about that.
But anyway, Nikki Hill, hope work's going great. Do hope you feel better soon. I'm going to do this once, MomBrain. Please do not spoil anything.
Is that what I sound like?
I am saying this now. Next week's episode, Nikki Hill will not be here. I should have worded this differently. I'm also saying next week's episode is an episode you will not want to miss. Not because Nikki Hill won't be here. We wish you would be here.
Nikki Hill and Do Michaels, we speak your names.
I am telling you, Do will be here next week. I'm telling you, next week's episode, you will not want to miss. I mean it with all of my heart and all of my fart. I would love to tease why or more, but I'm not going to. So be here. It's how about this? I'll tell you this. It's going to be an episode unlike any other. It's going to be a first time episode. And I don't know that it will ever happen again. So very exciting. And that's all I'll say.
Malik Halo says, "Can't believe Donnie's coming back next week."
I'll talk to
How'd you
Nintendo.
know?
I'll talk to Nintendo and see what she can make happen. Hello, Malik Halo and Tentavision and Darmani and SD and Backseat Studios and Radical Defect and Alternate Liz and Storbus Corbin. Oh, J-Bug. Great. My favorite dance. I got that dance in Fortnite. I love that the Pumpkin Man from the local news.
Yeah.
I love him. Spooky, scary
Skeletons.
Hello, Do. Do's in here, yes, and he sent the same video that he sent me earlier today, which is why I thought maybe he's feeling under the weather in a certain kind of way because diarrhea.
Oh, Do, I'm so sorry.
I don't know. Maybe hello. Did I say Nico Drunia? Hello, Nico Drunia. Whoever else I didn't say. Everybody that's in here, thanks for joining. Hello, Vachi. Thanks for joining. I know it's a busy weekend and things are going on for people because Comic-Con's going on in California, so people are paying attention to that, watching streams. There's a new Zelda game coming out, and I'm sure people are like, just get me to the weekend so I have time to play more Zelda. So if you are here live, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm Alec Halo with the GoNintendo Podcast lore. Donnie was Nintendo's BF like 15 years ago and was on the podcast. All of this is true.
Probably more than 15 years ago.
How?
It was probably like
What is she? What am I? 42,
2004.
41, 40, 39, 38, minus 15, 28, 23. I'm just going to ask her. It's not, she doesn't care.
It was like 20 years ago.
We're going to go. I typed in Nintendo. That's not her name. Going to go straight to the source. I'm doing the podcast right now. This is a live question for the podcast. How old were you when you were dating Donnie? And there you go. When she gets back to me, you will be the first to know. You being the royal you, the listeners. And he was the president later, says SD. That's right. Same guy went on to be president. No, different people. Radical Defect, lovely job on your Super Mario World Lego kit. That sucker is awesome. I really love that. Laxter, hello. Laxter says Switch 2 release exclusive to GN podcast next week. No, not that. Even bigger. No, it's not bigger than that. But
Well, in size.
we don't know that. We don't know what the Switch successor looks like.
That's true.
Could be size of a refrigerator, probably. No. So anyway, Radical Defects is not me, all spouse, but I'll pass along the good word. Well, congrats to your spouse on putting that together. They did a lovely job. Hello, Blood Ocean, visiting the Discord with Jack Skellington. Nikki Hill, big fan of Nightmare Before Christmas. But anyway, let me say hello to Josh Grobot, my friend from college, my friend since college days. Josh, how you doing, buddy?
Hanging and banging.
Hanging and banging. What were you up to this week?
Did you know you can win money just for playing Tetris? $5,000 is on the line tonight in Tetris Prime Time.
I think Josh might be giving out this money on his own.
No, not at all.
And George is here. George, how are you doing, my friend? George? Oh, there you go, George. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm feeling a little under the lime.
Under the lime? That's all you got, George? Really?
I'm sorry.
You're not feeling lime today?
I'm feeling a little sour.
Oh, George. MomBrain, you got George sick.
Look, I didn't. I didn't get George sick. He's not that kind of sick. So Dew might have gotten him sick.
Oh, they do sit right. Well, both of you sit next to each other, but George, I just gotta say, maybe if your mouth wasn't open all the time, you wouldn't get germs in there, and you could avoid sickness. But I hope you feel better soon, George. You should have said something. We're here all week. We didn't know you were sick. We're literally here with you. We could have helped you out.
I didn't want to put anybody out.
Sounds like MomBrain to me. Well, feel better. Go get some rest. Don't feel like you need to hang around. Nintendo says 17 to 20 was when she was dating Donnie. So there's your definitive answer. She knows. And that is hello, Red Susan. Good to see you. So that is your old podcast, Laura, if you were unaware. Oh my God, Blood Ocean. He's probably right.
Mm-hmm.
Blood Ocean says George is still is sick with limes. It's probably limes. Yeah. What else would it be?
I didn't even think of that. Oh man.
It's right there. It's right there.
Too much tick talk.
No, George. That's not how it works. Yeah, Tentafish and he's got Lyme's disease. Yep, it's true. Well, George, then that's not rest. You should probably go to a doctor, and they'll be able to aid you in some way. But rest is still helpful.
Yeah, I mean, antibiotics maybe.
That's that. I did the little tease. All right. Let me see what I got to talk about before we get into all the other stuff. Oh yes. We did a story this week about Shigeru Miyamoto, Game Freak 613, longtime reader of the site and supporter in general, reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I got a little tidbit." Let me do this professionally. He says right after he burps.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong.
He says, "I got a little tidbit for you. It's about Zelda Echoes of Wisdom." It's like there's this guy that is a game developer and he's talking about something interesting, and I thought you'd want to know. The guy's name is Max Nichols, Maxnichols. And he pointed me his way, and we discovered that Shigeru Miyamoto is not mentioned in the credits of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. It is the very first Zelda game that Miyamoto is not mentioned in the credits. The first ever, minus the 2 CDI games. So first, actual Zelda game where Miyamoto's not mentioned. And that's a very interesting tidbit. So we shared that, and I credited Game Freak 613 as well as Max, and I linked to Max. And I was like, this is a really interesting story. So I was excited to share that, and I was like, this will probably get some traction. And boy, did it. It went all over the place. And unfortunately, lots of people went and ran with the story and didn't credit GoNintendo.
What the heck?
Which is par for the course. Like, I know more often than not that is going to be the case. And is it frustrating? Yes, it's been frustrating for 20 years, but it is what it is. I'm not one to cause fights. I'm not one to go over and be like, you didn't credit us. I mean, like, once the story is up and out, then that's it. Like, there's no, whatever. And it's not worth it in the long run, but it's still frustrating and disappointing. I'm not naming outlets that did this, but there were many. But yeah, the story went all over the place. But more importantly, I felt bad for Game Freak because he sent us the tip, and Max because he did the work, or made the discovery. And I was like, that makes me extra mad. Like, if you're gonna take the story from us and not credit, whatever, it's disappointing, as I said. But can you give credit to the other people, like the people involved with actually making this happen and breaking the news? Like, can't they get a nod from you guys and leave me out of it? That's if I'm gonna get anything, I'd rather that than the Go Nintendo mention. So it's just disappointing because I didn't see anybody mentioning them. But I do have to give.
We're not mad. We're just
Yeah,
disappointed.
I do have to give one special shout out. Thank you to IGN. Out of all the outlets, IGN put it up. They shared the story like a couple days later. Obviously, they're going to reach a bigger audience than any of us, but they put up the story a couple days later, and they linked us by name. So thank you, IGN. They've sourced us before a whole bunch of times in the past, but I still appreciate it because, smaller outlets than IGN do much less. IGN, it's the right thing to do, but they don't have to do it, and they could get away with it because of their size. They could get away with not doing it, but they did it. So thank you to them. I thank them in the comments of their tweet, or I'm sorry, their X post and their thread as well. So I just wanted to give them a little shout out because I very much appreciate that effort. So there's that. MomBrain,
Hmm?
Did you know there's a Go Nintendo Patreon?
I didn't.
There is, and you can get access to every single post on there
For $1.
for $1. It's true, just $1. There's a new post every day. Every single day, there's a new post. I write about something every single day. Can you believe it?
I can believe it.
There's stuff about Nintendo on there, but there's all kinds of stuff too. What did we talk about this past week? Let me tell you.
Ooh.
I talked about the Virtual Boy. As a Virtual Boy's been in the headlines a little bit recently because the Nintendo Museum opened and they have a Virtual Boy exhibit, and they also have Virtual Boy merch. They have Virtual Boy shirts and mugs and pins and other stuff like that.
Underpants?
I don't know that there's underwear, so sorry.
I didn't ask about underwear.
I don't know that there's underpants either, but we'll have to book a trip to Japan to go find out. But
well,
yeah,
I mean, if you want to find underpants, you got to go to France.
They're not going to have Virtual Boy underpants in France, I don't think.
Well,
but yeah, lots to talk about the Virtual Boy, and it had me thinking. I have a Virtual Boy. I played a Virtual Boy before it came out through demo units at Sears, of all places. I used to go there and play it all the time. Never bought one. Should have bought one because, the system was out and pretty much dead within the same year. And I remember there being a giant pyramid of Virtual Boy boxes at our local electronics boutique. And they were selling it for $50. And I was like, and I still didn't buy it. And I should have. I don't know why I didn't buy it. Like, I was a Nintendo fan.
but we have one somewhere.
I know, but I bought it years and years later. I'm talking about like when it was out and new. I could have had one for $50, and I'm a Nintendo fan, like a diehard.
Yeah,
why would I not buy a Virtual Boy?
I mean, when was it?
I don't know when the Virtual Boy came out.
Yeah, I mean, $50 was probably a lot of money then.
Still a lot of money now.
Yeah, but more then than now.
But I don't remember. Like, I have the memory of, I'm gonna get it. I shouldn't get it because it's like there's not going to be anything coming out for it. I don't remember being like, I wish I had the money for it. I could have asked my parents and been like, can you spot me, whatever. But I don't remember that associated with the memory. I just remember like hesitating on pulling the trigger a couple times and not doing
No
it.
hezzy.
But yeah, years later, I bought one and off of eBay, and I played it and loved it.
Played it laying on your back on the floor with it balanced on your face.
Here it is, right here. Yeah, because I bought it off of eBay without the stand. It didn't have the stand, but it had everything else. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna screw this up. Would you put it there? Can I have a place of worship right here on the table?
Yeah.
But sadly, this Virtual Boy has been broken for a very long time. It just died on me. It wasn't dropped or anything like that. Just one of the eyes started going wonky and then it stopped working altogether, which obviously kills the effect. And then the other eye started to get dim. So I either have to buy a brand new one, or not a brand new one. I have to buy another one off of eBay, or I have to try and get this one fixed. And last time I looked into getting this one fixed, it was like way too much money to warrant doing or justify doing. So I didn't do it, and here it sits, a broken relic of a time gone by, and it makes me sad. But I still like having a Virtual Boy. Oh, the hen is looking through the Virtual Boy. Wow. That hen is going to go blind. But anyway, so I wrote a post about the Virtual Boy asking how many of you have actually played the Virtual Boy. I know you know of the Virtual Boy. I know you know what the Virtual Boy is and does. MomBrain. But how many of you have actually played it, experienced it, gone to that other dimension? And I saw some interesting stories in the comments there. I also talked about Uzumaki, which is the anime from Junji Ito, the adaptation of his work, Uzumaki, which has been in the works since 2018 or 2019. It's finally out now. The first episode came out last week. Second episode, I believe, is out tonight, if not today already. Junji Ito is quite famous as far as his artwork goes. Even if you don't know the man's name, you have probably seen his art. It's black and white, and it's very body horror and just grotesque and visceral and whatever. But the man's very famous for his manga and artwork in general. And now we have an anime adaptation of his work, Uzumaki, that's airing on Toonami, Adult Swim, whatever you want to call it, next day on Max, as they say. And I wrote about my opinions of the first episode because I'm a huge Ito fan. I've been reading his works for a while now.
Please pardon.
And the anime adaptation, at least as far as the first episode goes, was very faithful to the man and his work. I know he's deeply involved with this, so it's no surprise it turned out great. And it's obvious they put a ton of care into it. I know Do watched it and was very into it as well. So I just talked about my impressions on that and being an Ito fan. Ito. Why do I keep saying Ito? I'm talking about not Nintendo. Ito. Junji Ito. Not Shigesato Itoi. And I've been a fan for a long time. I said my favorite work of his is actually a short story called The Enigma of Amigara Fault. It's like a less than 40-page short story. You can read it so quickly. And it is something that has stuck with me ever since I read it because it just gives you a certain feeling. The Enigma of Amigara Fault. It is a wild tale, but boy, do I love it. So I wrote about Uzumaki. I also wrote about Halloween because Halloween is coming up. People love Halloween. And they
Kirby is a big Halloween dude.
It's true. It's true. I believe Nikki Hill is a fairly sizable Halloween fan as well. And I wrote about how people like to play games associated with the seasons, but also with the holidays. And I wanted to see what people were playing for Halloween to get them into the Halloween spirit. Scary games or games like Luigi's Mansion or just games that you played around Halloween when you're a kid that you revisit now. So we talked about that. As you probably know, I'm not a holiday person or a season person, and I don't go back to play games. So this was a topic for you guys, not for me. MomBrain, are there any games you played when you were a kid around holidays or in certain seasons that make you think of those things now? Hi, Roth.
I don't think so, but there was a kid that lived down the street that I played Toe Jam and Earl with. So I don't know. That kind of like reminds me of her, like when I think of Toe Jam and Earl. But I can't really. I mean, well, Wind Waker.
Hi, Salamaster.
With Lisa.
Ah, yes.
So yeah, I mean it was winter or like late fall when we played, but that's about it.
I see questions in here about me and emulation and piracy. I will talk about it. I am personally, well, I'm not against emulation. As far as like I have a Retron 5 and I have other devices that emulate old school platforms, but I have the actual software. Like I have the cartridges or discs or whatever. And I don't care what other people do. I'm not the arbiter of what you should do. As I've said many times back in the day, I used to, when Jesus Christ, it was late high school where I found out that emulation and ROMs were a thing. And I was like, I could play every game I wanted ever, including ones I've never played. And I just went nuts and did it. I didn't play them all, obviously, but I played a lot. And then one day I was like, this isn't right. I don't feel like I should be doing this. And I stopped. So for me personally, I don't have any issue with emulation at all. When it comes to ROMs, I personally have an issue, but I am not telling you what to do. So that's my stance. Me personally, I will use hardware that emulates systems to play actual games that I own, but I will not download ROMs of games I once owned or never owned and just want to play. But again, just my stance. You do you. From a legal standpoint, emulators live in a gray area, but are mostly fine. ROMs are the download of ROMs is illegal as far as I know. There's some cases where I'm sure that's not the case, but when you're talking about Nintendo or Capcom, whoever, Activision, SNK, you name it. When it comes to that stuff, it's obviously they legally that is in the wrong, and you could get in trouble. Would you get in trouble? It all depends on the circumstances, but and there's a lot of nuance in there for the conversation that needs to be had, blah blah blah. But again, I'm not telling you what to do. I was on one side of the fence and I came to the other. I found my way, and I'm not saying I found my way to the right side. I'm just saying I went on my own journey, and this is where I'm at now. So there you go. And also I don't know the legality of things in other countries. Who knows? I barely know what's going on in America, but who knows what's going on in other places. Salmaster Link says, theoretically, would you download a ROM of a game you currently own or dump your ROM for personal use? I would not download a ROM of a game I currently own, but I wouldn't feel bad about it because I do own it. If I was just like, I just want to play this on my computer or whatever, I would not feel bad about it because I do own the game, but I'd still feel a little bit something. Would I dump my own ROM? That I have even less issue with, but I'm less likely to do it just because of the technical aspect of it. But between the two, I'm more comfortable with the idea of dumping my own ROM from a cartridge I own rather than downloading a ROM.
I think that's what Do is at home doing right now.
Dumping a ROM. SDS, did you get tickets for Look Back? Well, SD, yes. We got them a few days ago. We are going tomorrow to see it. I'm very excited.
So is Radical Defect, Master Higgins.
I made a mistake of thinking no one was going to see this movie. When we got tickets, we are the second row. So people are going to see it, which is awesome to hear. But yes, we are going to see it tomorrow. It's going to be a day for the ages. We are going to see that. And we are going to Pizza Hut. So name a more
true Sunday night
day,
delight.
Right? I cannot wait to see this movie. Cannot wait. What else I write about on Patreon? I wrote about Nintendo game recommendations. What do I mean by that? Well, I go to Nintendo's website every single day, multiple times a day, for purposes of GoNintendo to make sure I'm checking out what's going on there and if there's any interesting features. And I noticed a little gray box that I never noticed before. Now, it might have always been there and I just didn't notice it, or maybe it just popped up recently. But it was like, hey, I don't remember exactly what it says, but it's like, we think these games will be for you. Click to find out. And I was like, oh, Nintendo thinks they know me. So I clicked to find out. Obviously, I had to be logged in with my Nintendo account for it to gather this information. And it gave me a list of 5 games it thinks I should play. This story would be way better if I could remember what those 5 games were, but I don't. So you got to join the Patreon to find out. But I got the recommendations of the games, and I was like, these really aren't. Oh, one of them was Overcooked, and I was like, this is so far the opposite of what I would want as far as a game goes. I've actively stayed away from Overcooked because it gives me agita and makes me uncomfortable. Like, that's so not a game for me. And overall, Alien Isolation was another one, which that's fine. I got no problem with that recommendation, but it's not like one I jump on right away. So I got the recommendations, and I was like, I don't know what their algorithm's doing, because it's not really stuff that I would be into. So I was curious, and I was looking for other people on Patreon to do the same thing and see what their recommendations were, and let me know if they felt they were in line. And it seems by and large, most people got recommendations that at least made sense for them. The majority of the recommendations, maybe not all of them, but there were a couple people where they got recommendations like me, where I was like, nope, this doesn't make any sense. I just thought that was interesting. This algorithm trying to figure out the next games for you, and how it was so off the mark for me. I'm open to everything, but when you're looking at stuff you want to play, the games I was given were not ones I were like clamoring for. So I talked about that. Also talked about the upcoming Rugrats movie. Well, let's not be like that. So if you haven't heard, Rugrats is getting a new movie. I believe this would be the 3rd movie in the Rugrats franchise. But this one's going to be quite different because it's a live-action CG hybrid. And my understanding is the babies will be CG and everyone else will be live action. So Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, Angelica, and so on will be computer generated. And just hearing that makes me nervous. Now, I'm not saying it couldn't work. I'm just saying I need to see it first. And I'm also need to decide. I need to know why. I'm probably not going to know why, but I would like to know why.
I'm sweating a little bit.
Why they decided this was the path to go. Are these CG babies going to look like the Rugrats babies just in CG? Or B, will they be more human-looking babies that take on characteristics of the Rugrats? So like a realistic-looking Chucky or something like that.
I don't know what's worse.
That's the question. I think the realistic with influence from the Rugrats would be worse versus a CG. If it's CG and it looks like Tommy Pickles,
except that everybody else
is
a
real
and
person.
It just makes it like, I don't know. It's the combination that makes it weird.
Mm-hmm.
It takes you out of the experience of babies that can walk and talk beyond their years.
That's right. Forgive me. Someone, I don't remember who it was on Patreon, but somebody said it should be the other way around, where the babies are real and the adults are CG. And I said,
like those weird dog portraits with the people hands.
I was like, that's so wrong that I would be all about it. I'd be like, this is such a crazy decision.
Or like that old YouTube video of the baby. They make her look like she's in like a cantina. And like, and she like pops up like a piece of corn.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's a good one.
So yeah, I'm not a massive Rugrats fan, but I am a Rugrats fan. I do like Rugrats, as you've heard me say. Adventures in Gameland, the game that just came out, I really enjoyed. I was looking forward to playing that. I'm a Rugrats fan. So, what's the likelihood of me going to the theater to see this movie? Not very high, but my sister was a massive and is a massive Rugrats fan. If she was like, let's go see the Rugrats movie, I'd go, yeah, sure, let's go see it. So I need to see. I said this could turn out to be a Sonic the Hedgehog situation where the first trailer comes out and everybody's like, this is the world's worst creation, and then they go back and like give it a few more passes and put out another trailer, and you're like, oh, all right, that's much better. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And here's a question: if Spike is in a movie, who is the dog? Is he going to be CG or is he going to be live action? So many questions about this movie. Don't know what's going on here, but boy, is it interesting because people are talking about it, being like, "This is wrong. This is a terrible idea." Mostly that. Very few people who are like, "Let's give it a chance." And I'm on the spot of, "Let's give it a chance," but also I recognize why you're very worried about it because I get the same worry. Last thing I talked about was Zelda because I'm playing The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. MomBrain, are you playing?
I am not.
Care to elaborate on that?
I am in grad school and I am teaching full time, and I'm brain dead.
But you are playing Homescapes.
Yes.
So no comment on that?
I can play that while I listen to a lecture.
Okay. Fair enough. So yeah, I'm playing Echoes of Wisdom, and I wrote a post specifically about the game's music. And as I said at the start of the post, you know, surprise, surprise, the Zelda game's got good music. Of course, this game has good music, but I think the music in this one is, I don't want to say a step beyond, but a step in a new direction because it has approaches to songs and styles of songs that I wouldn't traditionally think of for Zelda, and I'm really enjoying it. There's songs that are certainly Zelda-esque, but there are other songs that are very that lean more atmospheric, and they're just a different kind of song for Zelda, and they're especially prevalent in the dungeons. And boy, have there been some really good songs. I'm going to give light spoilers here, and it's really not a spoiler for anybody who's played any Zelda game ever. In the spoiler alert desert dungeon, and spoiler, there's a song where, like, when I walked into the dungeon, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And it gave me some goosebumps, and I started to tear up a little bit. I'm like, this is really something. There's a song in the desert in general that when you get to the town, that I really like too. It's just a really fun song. Then there's a song, again, spoiler, not really spoiler, in the water dungeon. That is so Star Wars, as the kids would say today, so Star Wars coded. It's just got the same instruments you would hear in a Star Wars song, like the
Jizz whalers.
like the the wistful, what is it, flute? I don't know. It's got to be a flute or something.
Zamfir, master of the pan flute.
And but there's another layer to it. Man, I really like that song. And I felt like I didn't get enough time in that dungeon to really enjoy the song. You're in the dungeon for a little while, but I was like, then there's another dungeon, which I won't say what it is. But as you're going through, the more things you do in the dungeon, the more it adds to the dungeon song, which is something they have done before in other games, but I still love that. And just overall, I'm like, you know, this music is something else. And there was another point where a song in the game that I've been hearing for a while changed based on what I did. It gets a little flourish to it. And I was like, what a cool idea. I didn't expect it at all. So I'll talk more about that game later in the what we played section. But, you know, I got a lot more to do. I'm really just taking my time with it, enjoying it. I don't have the time to play it as much as I would like to, but I'm playing when I get a chance at night. I've played on the treadmill, so I'm trying to squeeze it in where I can. But it's like it is with every Zelda game for me, where I'm like, I love this. I want to play it all the time. It's all I think about. Also, I don't want to rush it, and I never want it to end. And I know I'm going to be sad when it does. So I'm in a good spot. I know I got way more ahead of me, but I'm getting nervous.
It's like the first day of vacation.
Yeah, except it's not the first day. So that's what I wrote about on Patreon this week. Join up for $1. And then I have the latest installment of my GN expansion pack feature. That's on regular GoNintendo. We do one every Friday. The expansion pack features are pieces I write that go beyond the usual Nintendo focus. They can sometimes be about Nintendo or related to Nintendo, but their scope and scale and focus may have nothing to do with Nintendo at all. It could be about anime or a TV show or a movie or a book or music or whatever. It could be about whatever. Or what it's about this week, it's about entertainment media and spoilers. And I'm not talking about Joe Schmo. I'm talking about like major outlets that cover this kind of entertainment news. Again, be it movies, music, TV shows, games. And I've noticed in the last year or two that they are going absolutely all out insane on spoilers in the title and spoilers in the thumbnail that are egregious, and they happen even before the general public has a chance to interact or engage with this content. Because when an embargo for a movie review or a game review or whatever lifts, sometimes that happens before the content is available to the public. And I've had multiple instances in the last year and a half where major outlets have just outright been like, here's the final boss in this game, or here's what this means at the end of the story in this movie, or here's what this character really is. And I'm like, why? This is fine to write about this stuff or make videos about this stuff, but can we not put it in the title? Can we not put it in the thumbnail? Like, can we have just a little tiny sliver of respect for the people who haven't seen this yet, which in some cases is literally no one outside of the press?
There is a special kind of disdain I have for people who ruin things for other people. Like, knowingly ruin them for other people. Ruining someone's surprise is like the worst kind of...
Spoiler alert, you suck.
Like, that's just an awful thing to do to somebody.
And I said, I understand that when you're working at an outlet, you are under the control of the higher up. So you are doing what is told, or sometimes you create a piece of content and someone else makes the title or the thumbnail or whatever. I understand that. So my ire is not at the people creating this content. It's at the initiative, at the organizations that say, yes, this is okay. Because it's not okay. It's not right. It should not be like that. And again, you have every right to write about or cover this content in a video. Just do not make the forward facing stuff spoiler. Use a silhouette. Use a redacted. You can still be like, Legend of Zelda's blank needs to be talked about or whatever. You can there's ways to entice readers without being like, this isn't a spoiler, but like, Ganon's meaning and echoes of wisdom or whatever. It's just so frustrating. And I've had major things I'm looking forward to spoiled. And I know people are like, well, just don't go on social media and don't go. For my job, that's impossible, but that's besides the point, because we live in an age where everywhere you go has algorithms associated with it. And you could be doing something or going somewhere that is completely unrelated to what you are trying to not have spoiled, and it gets spoiled for you. You scroll through and an ad comes up for somebody's video or somebody's feature, and it's right there in front of your face. I've had it happen with wrestling where I've been on just like Reddit or something, and one of those auto-generated things comes up, and it's like some website's thing about a premium live event that just happened that I haven't had the chance to watch yet. And I'm like,
There's one after this podcast, isn't there?
Bad Blood is today, yes. Oddly enough, it starts at 6 instead of 7. I don't know why. No Bad Blood spoilers, please, if we are still going when that starts. But yeah, it's just been supremely frustrating. And again, I need to stress, I know it's not the people writing these things. I'm talking about the outlets and their directives and stuff like that. And I understand that when an embargo lifts, you got to be there. You got to be in the rush because you got to get your stuff out. Otherwise, you're not going to be heard. And it's so much harder to get people's attention after that initial rush. I get it. I understand it. I've worked in this industry for 20 years. I understand it. I understand the impetus. I understand the importance. I do get it. And for me, I am not willing to toe that line. I'm not willing to follow the group in that. I'll take the hit on the rush or whatever. if I'm going to be a couple days late, or I'll certainly take the rush or the hit when it comes to not spoiling things in titles. Like, I know you guys have all seen it when it comes to games. It happens in everything else, every other entertainment media too. But with games, it's like, here's how to beat so and so. Here's how to farm all these things. Here's the place you need to go to get this thing. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, can I play the damn game before you tell me where everything is and how to get it? Like, I don't want to know any of this stuff. Again, I don't mind if you do it, but just the title, the thumbnail. Can we just like can we keep a little bit secret? I can't believe like it's got to all be right there. Just yeah. But I'm shouting into a void because those things get attention, and that's why they happen. Outlets wouldn't be doing it if it didn't work. So I don't know what to do. It's a meaningless fight, I guess. I know there's others out there that feel like me, but I'm sure there's others still way more who don't care and want to see that stuff. So that was my GoNintendo expansion pack feature. I go into much more detail in the actual feature. If you'd like to read it, it's on the front page right now. That's it. MomBrain, I did all my speech. Did all my preamble. You got anything you want to talk about? No respect. That's right, Blood Ocean. No respect. Thank you, Blood Ocean. I referenced the Old Man Yells at Cloud in the article as well. MomBrain, I'm sorry. Anything you would like to talk about?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Malakayla says, I was looking for something concerning the Final Fantasy VII Remake on YouTube, and within the first 5 results was what I assume was the ending to Rebirth. Yeah, if it still applies for YouTubers, and I'm not knocking YouTubers, individual YouTubers. As plenty of them are much bigger than any of the outlets I'm talking about. But, if it comes, hi, Tony De La Mancha, when it comes to like just a random Joe Schmo on YouTube recording footage or putting up something and they're doing that, yes, it is frustrating, but I don't see it quite the same way. It irks me more when like there's a whole group of people, like there's a cabal of people that are like, we are going to do this and milk it for every whatever. But you get something spoiled, you get something spoiled. If the end result is the same, then I guess it doesn't really matter how you got there. SC says, I've gone into the Seinfeld register. What's the deal with these people? No, not a fan of Seinfeld anymore, and I'll just leave it at that. All right, MomBrain's got nothing. I did all my stuff before news, and I guess that means we're going into news. Finally, am I right? Finally, we have the update. Oh, okay. I get it. Listen, there's things I covered a week ago and I forget why it's there. And then I remember. We're going to skip that one, but we will go to this one. You might know of a Switch successor rumor about it having scroll wheels on the Joy-Con. And if you've been around the internet for a long time and you're a Nintendo fan, you'll know that the scroll wheel rumor is one for the ages. We've been through multiple console generations where there have been rumors of controllers having a scroll wheel. And that rumor has popped up for the Switch successor a number of times, and it's rearing its head once again from another inside source. They're saying that the scroll wheel, will have shoulder buttons that are scroll wheels. And the scroll wheel is similar to what you would have on a mouse. So you scroll with it, you feel the little clicks to it. According to this insider, it has what's the opposite? When something has give, what's the opposite of that?
Slippery?
No, that's more.
Resistance?
Resistance, I guess, yeah. It has more resistance than a mouse wheel because, you don't really have to tug your finger hard or drag your finger hard across a scroll wheel to get it to scroll. So this will have more resistance than that, but you'll still feel the little like click, 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 click. And also these can be pushed down as a button as well. And apparently it's done so that you won't accidentally push it in, which is never an issue on a mouse scroll wheel. So I'm sure that wouldn't be an issue on a button as well. But, it is a game controller. versus a mouse. And on a mouse, the scroll wheel is more often used for scrolling than button pushing. And on a controller, it would be more used for button pushing than scrolling. So who knows? But we'll see. Also, a scroll wheel on a controller, I think, is a great idea. There's so many things that could be used for that could be better access with a scroll wheel. It could be used for its own game mechanics as well. And I'm sure Nintendo would love to do things like that. But look at like echoes of wisdom. Sound like I said egos. There you go, Colonel. Echoes of wisdom. Echoes of wisdom when you're going through all of your echoes and there's lots of them to scroll through. Instead of holding the directional pad or the joystick, you could do a scroll wheel and just spin through all of them, which would be great. So plenty of applications there. Is it true? Well, all I can say is it hasn't been true so far for any of the systems, but maybe Switch's successor will be the one. I can say I hope that's the case because I really do like the idea. We shall see, my friends. Teases 2 says that sounds interesting, but wouldn't we have seen this in the prototype leak? You would think so, but who knows, my friend? I honestly don't know. We'll find out together. I don't think we need to do this.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Thank you, Josh. You're right. We're gonna skip that one for now.
Wow. Just
Or not for now.
blowing
Well,
through.
it's more about that weird patent that came up for some device from Nintendo that we don't know what it is, and it was just more talk about that, but we still don't really know what it is. This we will talk about because it's a juicy topic. Ooh. Nintendo, Pokemon Company, and Pocket Pair, the developer of Palworld, are in a legal battle that is sure to go on for years. It's gonna be long and drawn out and whatever. But since that came out, other details about the company have come out, and we have some information that's from someone who used to work at Pocket Pair, and they have said some things that don't paint Pocket Pair in a positive light. Sorry, I'm drinking more water than usual this show because I know I'm the one that always talks the most, but with just one other person, I'm doing a lot of talking. So there's this person, former developer at Pocket Pair, and they are saying that the pals in Palworld, which are the creatures, they were intentionally designed to look even more like Pokemon. So they had some sort of designs, but then the powers that be at the company wanted those designs to look even closer to Pokemon. And supposedly, the initiative at the studio was to make them mimic the look of the top 100 Pokemon. So the most popular Pokemon, Pikachu and Eevee, and of course, Mr. Mime, I'm sure. But supposedly, that's what Pocket Pair was saying. They wanted their PAL designs to be as close as you could get to those popular Pokemon designs. And this employee wasn't comfortable with this, and they pushed back on this. And then they were like, you know what? If that's what we're doing, then I'm out of here. And they left the company. And apparently after they left the company, the initiative went ahead anyway. I mean, when Palworld was first revealed, everybody was like, these are Pokemon. So who knows when exactly this happened during development, but it's not like it's new information for somebody to look at Palworld and be like, I think these creatures look like Pokemon. But now we're hearing that there was a direct initiative to make them look more like Pokemon, obviously, because you want to get that buzz. You want to get that attention. You want to fool some people, too. You and I know they're not Pokemon, but do mom and dad know that pals aren't Pokemon? Probably not. They would look at them and be like, that's a Pokemon, or guess it's a Pokemon.
You gonna go play your Poke Pals?
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. So, mom and dad go to the mall or whatever. Not really anymore. Mom and dad shop on.
Mom or dad and dad. Or just mom.
Why do you got to do that to me? You always do stuff like that to me to make me seem like I'm not inclusive.
I don't mean it like that. I just mean that the world.
Or maybe not mom and dad. Maybe not mom and mom. Maybe not dad and dad. Maybe grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
Maybe grandma and grandma.
Maybe PP and me mom.
Maybe
Shushu and Ho Hum.
Yes. Oh, did you go see Shushu and Ho Hum today?
Mm-hmm.
How they doing?
Right?
They're doing Ho Hum. So whoever's taking care of you as a child goes online to buy you a gift.
You're dumb effing grown-ups.
They love Pokemon, and they see a Palworld shirt and it doesn't say Palworld on it. It just, the listing says what it says on Amazon. It's like, mystical monster creature, magical, otherworldly video game, accessories, shirt, apparel, very cool. And they're like, look at this Pokemon. And they buy the shirt for you. And then you got to wear a shirt with a PAL on it. So
man,
you're like,
that's
thanks,
killer.
thanks, Mom and Dad. Yeah, thanks, Ho Hum and
Shoo.
Shoo. And they're like, put
Thanks,
the shirt on. We're going to see Ho Hum and Shoo.
Thanks, PP and Wiz for the nice shirt.
Oh, look, he's wearing the Pokemon shirt we bought him. He loves that Pokemon.
The PokePal shirt.
Which is is that your favorite Pokemon on the shirt there?
Yeah, Wiz, that's my favorite one.
See what happens here, people? This is what happens. So yeah, is the story true? Maybe. I can't verify it because the guy could be lying. I got no idea. But he worked at Pocket Pair and he says that's what happened and he left the company. So it is what it is. That's why we marked it rumor. Now you decide. Tendonen says, I find it odd that the conversation around the lawsuit still revolves around the plagiarism accusations. It's a patent case, and the exclusion of any copyright claims is almost a tacit admission that they didn't quite cross the line, and others could rip off Pokemon 2 if they wanted. It's just, bereft of creative integrity. And in some cases, that's still legal. Make a very good point. Yes, you can... You can butt up right against something and legally still be okay. It's when you actively pilfer a direct drawing or a direct character, or you could make something that looks a lot like it and sounds a lot like it, but there's that legal room, that legal wiggle room where you're okay. So yes, this is Tendonen makes the point. The wonderful point of making sure everybody pays attention to the fact that this is a patent case and not a Pokemon and Palworld look similar case. That's not what it is. Nintendo hasn't revealed the exact patents that they are saying were infringed upon. We'll all find out that at a later date together, and we will keep you informed. But yes, this is just another story in the whole hubbub about Palworld and Pokemon. Keegan Michael Key, who is known for Key and Peele and many other movies, including the Mario movie where he voiced Toad. Apparently he will be coming back for the sequel, and in an interview with the foremost outlet for Mario news, Men's Journal, Keegan Michael Key talked about the upcoming Super Mario Brothers movie sequel, which we know is happening. We've known for a while that it's official. It's set to release on April 3rd, 2026, but we don't really know any details. Well, Keegan Michael Key, in his Men's Journal interview, didn't give specifics, but gave us more than we've heard from other places and people so far. How is he allowed to do this? Why did he do it? I don't have the answer to either of those questions, but we're going to take what he shared and share it with you. He says the movie is a little broader in scope, and where it takes place is, quote, very intriguing lore and the Mario world, end quote. So what's intriguing to you as far as Mario lore goes and the Mario world goes? What's intriguing to me? Isle Delfino would be intriguing to me. You know what would be intriguing to me character-wise? Wart. Wart would be intriguing to me. But would they do a Wart movie? Probably not, because not a lot of people know who Wart is. The film will have, quote, some really fantastic Easter eggs, end quote. The sequel has, quote, really widened out the universe, end quote. So, yeah, Mario games are so far-reaching. They go much further than the Mushroom Kingdom. I mean, for Christ's sake, Mario was out in space. He's traveling around out in outer space with Rosalina. So we got plenty of places we could go. Mr. Key says you will see some new characters and old favorites. Now, I don't know if new means brand new, 100% never seen in the Mario universe, or new as in they haven't been in the first Mario movie. But you'll see some old favorites. And I don't know if old favorites means characters from the first movie or characters from the Mario universe that we haven't seen yet. I don't know. And he says there will be some really deep cuts for Mario fans. So Wart would be a deep cut, but probably not a focus. Name a whole bunch of things from Mario 2 and they'd be a deep cut. Fry Guy and the snake, whatever his name is. I can't remember his name. And what What else is in Super Mario 2 that we don't see anymore?
Turnips.
How about we don't see the Phanto mask too much anymore.
Ooh.
Turnips, definitely turnips. So there you go. There's some interesting details about the Mario movie sequel. Rick Fillet says, Keegan Michael Key seems like a really cool guy. Could you do me a favor? Could you just peek in on a Discord every few minutes and see if there's something worth saying in there? Worth saying, I mean, I'm only saying that because I can't look at the Discord. I just want to make sure if somebody's saying something about whatever we're talking about, and you feel it's worth pointing out, then you do that.
Ibsters is in saying, I hit my weight loss goal today, started keto in 2020, and I've now lost 252 pounds.
Ibsters, great job.
Wow. Holy moly.
That's more than I lost. I lost about 200, I guess.
Good for you, Ibsters.
Yeah,
I hope you feel fantastic.
Congratulations. Wonderful job. Very hard to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Hard to keep off in the sense that once you reach where you want to be, you have to figure out how to stay there. And it's something I'm still struggling with. Am I still at where I want to be? Yes, but it is a struggle to figure out what works for me. So it's unfortunately something you have to stick with for the rest of your life. But congratulations,
but
my friend.
With all hopes that the rest of your life is healthy and
you're in a better place.
Yeah,
you're in a better place. Rick Fillet, as I said, Keegan Michael Key seems like a really cool guy. I saw an interview with him for Transformers 1, and he seemed to really know his stuff and was passionate about the series. Seems like it's the same way for Mario. MomBrain and I went to the movies last night, and when I was in the bathroom after our movie, I heard two guys talking about Transformers 1, which I've heard is a great movie. I would like to see it. Probably not going to see it in the theater. I'll watch it at home, but I've heard very good things. And I love that people are like, this is so dumb. When Transformers 1 was announced, people are like, who wants an animated Transformers movie? And I'm like, whoa, what universe are you people from? What do you think Transformers started as? Like, I don't, you think it's only the live action movies? But whatever. Another argument for another day.
Ibsters has the same problem that you have struggled with.
Yes, Ibsters, I feel your pain. It is not. Ibster says the thing is, I still feel like I'm bug in my head.
Big.
Oh, bug, big. Yes, it's a typo.
Yeah.
I still avoid sitting on certain chairs. Yes, Ibsters, I do the same thing. I'll forever be like that. I mean, I lived, 39 years, 40 years I'll say 35 years in that big body. And I operate that way still. The way I move around things and between things, I still think the same way. It's like muscle memory. I can't shake it. I don't know that I ever will. But like squeezing between things where I'm not squeezing at all. Like I'm not touching anything at all. Like every week when I take out the garbage, we have a truck and a car in the driveway. And I would have to go between the two of them. And I'd have to take a different route to fit between them. I do not have to do that anymore, but I still do it because I think I can fit. When I was big, knew I was big, but never looked at myself and was like, oh my God, I'm really big. I never, I was fine with it just because that's how I've always been. Now I look at myself and I'm like, oh, I look so big. And I know I'm not. So, it's tough. I get it. Hi, King Talsha. Good to see you. King Dalsha says, I try to do keto, but not having an income, I'm not exactly at the point I get to be picky with my food, but I do look forward to following it a bit more intently and be the Shaggy Rogers I am in my head. Hi, PC. Good to see you. PC says, hello, everyone. I finally accepted I have to buy bigger pants at this point in my life, and that's fine. Yeah. I did not do what I did because of societal pressures or because of discomfort with my body or anything like that. If I'm going to be completely honest, I was happier when I was bigger. I just did it because I knew it was the right thing to do for my body's overall health. So I made a promise to myself when Pikmin Bloom came out that I would start then and I would really do it because I had tried a few times before that, but not really wholeheartedly. But that time I was like, I'm really going to do it. And I did it and it's done, but it never ends. You be you, you do you. If you are happy in your body, then whatever shape, size it is, then that is all that matters. But yes, Ibsters, congratulations again. I know it's very difficult. King Talsha, thank you for the kind words. Those are very nice. King Talsha also, Yeah, I get like a lot. That's a big thing. Like when you want to eat better and more healthy, it can be very expensive, especially if you're trying to go like fresh produce and all that, or health foods or whatever. It's all very expensive. I did not go that route. I literally just did calorie deficit
So
and
it's much cheaper because
Yeah.
we don't buy as much food.
yeah, I did calorie deficit and walk every day. And really, you don't even have to do the walking. They say 10 to 15 minutes of exercise versus nothing at all makes a world of difference. So if you could do that on top of your calorie deficit, you'd be made in the shade. Like you can eat whatever the cheapest food is, whatever the food that you want to eat, you can do all of that. Just calorie deficit is what matters. You could eat chocolate bars every single day, but as long as you keep in a calorie deficit, you'll be good. And obviously,
Well,
I
if
get
we're
it.
talking about weight loss.
Well, just for the weight loss. Yeah, I was going to parlay into that and say, I get it. You want to be healthy and get vitamins and eat things that are quote unquote good for your body. I get it. But when it comes to cost and things, there are concessions we all have to make. So I get it. You could do donuts. That's right, Drake. You could do donuts. Don't say but donuts. And it's just donut. When I was like actively really doing my weight loss journey, I still had donuts. It's whatever fit in the amount of calories I allotted myself. I was cool with. Sometimes that was a crumble cookie, and I was like, I'd eat one crumble cookie and be like, that's more than 2/3 of my calories for the day. But I wanted a crumble cookie, so I ate a crumble cookie. Today I wanted half of a double chunk chocolate muffin from Costco. PC, not planned. I'm so glad you're here that you get PC hates the the Costco guys. She hates the Costco guys. I ironically love them. And if you don't know who the Costco guys are, they're the double chunk chocolate cookie guys that you may have heard of. But I wanted a double chunk chocolate muffin from Costco, and we put them in the freezer. One of their muffins is like just shy of 800 calories. They are delicious. They are phenomenal. Hi, Freddie Fro. Good to see you. They're scrumptious. But with my calorie deficit, eating that many calories in one thing makes it very hard for the rest of the day. So I said to MomBrain, would you do me a favor and split this muffin with me? And she said something along the lines of, I'll make this sacrifice for you. And that's what I did. Did I want the whole muffin? Yes. Do I still want the whole muffin? Yes.
Well,
but
you can't have it because I ate it.
it's gone. And I ate my half, and I very much enjoyed my half. Now, MomBrain, another thing before we get back to Nintendo news.
Yeah.
Did you think it was better out of the freezer?
Definitely.
It wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I told MomBrain, Costco's muffins are phenomenal. Costco's everything is great, but Costco's muffins are so good. They're just moist and fluffy and light. They're so great. But at Costco, you can't buy 1 pack of 6. You have to buy 2 packs of 6 because that's how they sell them. And it's an insanely good deal.
They legitimately make you.
Yeah,
They're like, you can't leave without.
You cannot leave without getting 2. And they sell them for $10. It's $10 for 12 giant muffins, which is a fantastic deal. But that's a lot to eat. And with my calorie deficit, I can't do that.
And there's, it's the 2 of us here. It's not like we have this like big family we're feeding.
So I was like, can I freeze them? And I looked it up online to see if other people did. And they're like, yeah, they're fine freezing them. So we froze them.
I said we'll freeze them. And then I guess you didn't believe me.
No, I believed you, but I wanted to double check if the other people had done it. Listen, I trust you.
Has anyone ever frozen a muffin before?
No, I wanted to trust you, but I also I said that wrong. I trust you, but I wanted to also get input from people who have done it with specifically Costco muffins. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But anyway, I did it, and one day I did have a full muffin, and I was like, an unfrozen muffin, a thawed muffin. And I was like, I think that was better than when I had them fresh. And I told MomBrain, and now she agrees. There's something about the unfreezing process where, it makes it more moist or something.
Thawing is.
But oh my God, it was better. And it wasn't like, it's not gross. It's not like it's a juicy muffin or anything. You don't bite it and like water comes gushing out. It's just something about it. It was very good. King Tasha says, I have a Costco lasagna in the freezer, and I just ate one last night, and I had leftovers for lunch, and I still can't wait to crack into the frozen one. Costco, baby. Love them. Absolutely love them. Drake, I want to address this, and then I'll get back to news. Drake says, was the muffin cut in half, or did you do top and bottom? I'm not a monster. I cut it in half. We both got equal amounts of top and bottom of the muffin. That would be funny if I asked you yesterday, will you split the muffin with me? And you woke up today and it was just like the muffin stump instead of
I'd
the
be
top.
taking it.
It's still going to taste good, but the stump doesn't have the chocolate chips in it.
That's okay.
A double chunk chocolate stump. And yes, PC. PC, I saw a TikTok today that I almost sent you because it had AJ signing his AEW contract for his one match in AEW. So I almost sent it to you, but I was like, I won't torture her too much, but I will be sending you more. So yes, this is the new GoNintendo /Costco Guys podcast. We will have a segment dedicated every week to Costco food and the Costco guys.
Wow.
Wow, in the Discord, you're reading something, not a wow to what I
Look
said.
at this tuxedo. This is incredible.
I have seen that tuxedo.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Radical Defect is showing off a Pokemon tuxedo. That's made by the same, or it might not be, but I think the same company that makes that awesome Tetris tuxedo that our friend wore. I think they do that one as well, or at least something similar. That is beautiful and very handsome suit. Very handsome suit.
Yes.
Moving on. Switch Online members, get ready for October 11th if you have a Switch Online membership. Just the base membership. Not the expansion pack. You are getting two more F-Zero games. You're getting you're getting F-Zero GP Legend, the GBA game, as well as the Japan-only title F-Zero Climax. So we're getting an F-Zero game that we never got here ever before. So F-Zero fans are eating good this week. Old classic and an old new game that we never got. That is great to see. Mr. Coy says, awesome. I've heard great things about Climax, so excited to finally be able to play. I am too. It's exciting to know I'm going to get to play an F-Zero game that I've never played in my life before. I love Nintendo. I love first-party games, and you don't often get the opportunity to play a first-party game that you've never played before because almost all of them are localized. But back in the day, that wasn't so much the case, and this would be one of those instances. So October 11th, Switch Online, GBA, 2 F-Zero games, GP Legend, Climax. There you go. I already talked about Miyamoto not being in the credits for Echoes of Wisdom. We've covered it. It's done. Yes, here's a story I've been dreading. MomBrain?
Yes.
You're going to have thoughts on this story.
Okay.
It's a very hot button issue.
All right.
You are free to voice your opinion as you see fit. I'm just hoping you keep an even keel when you do so.
Okay.
But it is an important story. It's one that got people talking. I can tell you it caused a deluge of comments on the site. Lots of new accounts signed up and sharing opinions that I did not agree with, but I'm not about censorship unless you are attacking someone.
Mm-hmm.
So some of those were approved. The comments of those people are not those of GoNintendo, but I cannot block people just because I don't agree with what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I can only block them or ban them if they are attacking someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the story. Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake is coming out on November 14th. As the name implies, it is an HD 2D remake of the original Dragon Quest III. Not surprisingly, with a remake, things change, things are altered, there's new things added, and things taken away. And something has been changed that some things have been changed that have caused quite the kerfuffle online. The female warrior in the game has been adjusted. Her character art has had. She used to be wearing like metal armor, basically bra and panties, or bra and underpants, as MomBrain would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like very Leia-esque from Star Wars. That's what the outfit looked like. In the new version, she is still wearing those things, but underneath of those, she's been given pseudo flesh-colored shorts, and a pseudo flesh-colored tank top. So the original armor is still there, but now it's a little more covered up than before. Just with like a little, like crop top and little like bike shorts. So this happened and people were not happy about this.
And what is the main complaint?
Censorship.
Oh.
There's more to this story. Let me get through the whole thing.
Okay.
Also in this game, in the original Dragon Quest III, players could choose between a male or female. And in this remake, the options have been changed to type 1 and type 2 instead of male or female. So those are the big changes that caused the whole kerfuffle this week and are being talked about. Dragon Quest creator Yuji Horii and former Shonen Jump's a magazine, editor Kazuhiko Torishima spoke about these changes. And the original translation of what they said made it seem like they weren't too keen on these changes. I'm going to read you the original translations. There's obviously more to the story, but let me give you the original. So Mr. Torishima said, quote, "There's a religious concept from the West, especially in America, that influences their approach to sex education, right? Their approach to compliance is really narrow-minded. When selling manga in America, everything had to be categorized by age groups. Because there's a risk of lawsuits, the company also has to get insurance. Doing business with such a ridiculous country is really frustrating. Because of that, Japan also gets negatively influenced." End quote. Mr. Horii, the Dragon Quest creator, said, quote, "In Dragon Quest, you used to be able to choose between a male and female character, but now you can't choose between a man and a woman anymore. We have to label them as type 1 and type 2. I really wonder who is even complaining about this." End quote. So that came out. Some people, you know how this goes. Some people were very upset by the comments because they see it as a lack of recognizing people and who they are, and being regressive instead of progressive. Other people saw this and applauded it because they're like, yes, these are the kind of frustrations we feel, and this stuff that's going on in games or entertainment in general nowadays is ridiculous. Those are the two sides arguing back and forth. There was a video, because these two had this discussion on their podcast that they do. There was a video of this discussion, and it had subtitles in it. And it went through the whole thing, basically what I just told you. That video has since been removed. Because what happened is the story went out. When I posted the story, I was like, be careful. Here's what's happening, an explanation. I can't verify the claims that this is exactly what was said. There's things that are mistranslated sometimes. All that warning applies all the time. So the story made it out there. Both sides were really arguing. It made it far and wide. It reached a whole bunch of different outlets, not based on what I did. I was in the echo chamber with everybody. But it went out very far and wide, became a big talking point because, of course, it is that kind of stuff. The culture wars and all that stuff, are a big part of what's going on in the world right now, and very hot in America. So it reached all over the place, and then this, I'm sure, will not be a surprise to some people. It made its way to Elon Musk, Mr. Tesla, Mr. X, and he reposted the video. And I forget what he said. Like, it was a very short comment, but if you know Elon Musk, you know which way he leans. He's more on the side of saying, like, yes, this is woke, and it's nice to hear these creators saying this kind of thing. He didn't say all of that, but, he reshared it with everybody because he was on the side of the people who were saying, why are we making these changes? So it went out that far. It became, like, huge. It became huge. Following all that, Yuji Horii and Kazuhiko Torishima put out a very lengthy statement. And long story short, they said that their words and discussion were taken out of context. They said some things were cut out completely. Other things had context removed. and other things were mistranslated to steer the narrative in an unintended direction. So they put out an extremely long statement on the whole matter. I'm going to read you snippets of it. Says it was mistranslated in English by a third party unrelated to the event, and comments have been spread with the incorrect translation. Not only that, parts of the statements made by the participants have been deliberately cut out and quoted as if the speaker was expressing a negative opinion towards a particular ideology or belief, and have been spread in a manner far removed from the true meaning of the statements and the original content and message of the video in question. Furthermore, the malicious videos and transcripts containing the above-mentioned citations have been spread across multiple YouTube channels and social media accounts. Furthermore, the videos, which still contain the incorrect English subtitles and articles that use them as sources of information, have spread and circulated not only within Japan, but overseas. They give one example where they say a term they were using was Puritan, but it was incorrectly translated to sex education. They use that as one example. They say they deeply regret that situation and that it's caused misunderstandings that were not intended by the speaker, and that it could undermine trust not only in the performers themselves, but also for all the other parties involved. We strongly protest against the actions that have led to this situation. Therefore, we ask you they ask people to take it down. In addition, yeah. That's that. There you go. That was their statement. So that came out, and people, you know the way this went. Some people were like, "That's great to know that they did that. It assuages my fears and concerns a bit." And the other side was like, "They were pressured into doing this. They're doing damage control. It's so completely obvious. We know how they really feel." So that's pretty much where we're at now. Square Enix, the publisher of the game, has refused to comment on this. I've tried to get comment, no comment. Other outlets have also tried to get comment, no comment. They obviously don't want to touch this. 1 second. So hold on, I'm going to look into that in a second right off with the effect. So that's the story, MomBrain. I would imagine you have some things to talk about. I actually have something to look into right now. So if you could, please.
Well, here's the deal. I don't think it will come as a surprise to people when I say where I stand as a person on equity and inclusion. I think that expanding your mind and your vocabulary to be more inclusive is a wonderful thing. I also think that there's a lot of religion-based beliefs that Americans share as a society that actually does, it's that very like puritanical sort of viewpoint, which I think is damaging. I also think that a lot of that is oppressive to women and people who identify as women. But I also, which
I want to jump in real quick. I'm sorry, I'm not even listening because GoNintendo is broken right now. The issue, we are aware of the issue. It's being worked on at this very moment. I'll let you know as soon as it's fixed. I apologize for jumping in with that with this
it's okay.
discussion. Go ahead.
So, but here's the other side. I don't know. I can't understand someone else's intent, right? Like I don't know somebody else's intent. However, while I wish that artists across the board and humans across the board would be more inclusive and open-minded, I also think it's really important that art is allowed to be the art that the artist wants it to be. I think that that's like really, really important. And I suppose, as long as it's not like physically causing bodily harm to another person, like, you can't say like, I'm, making a cannon as an art installation that's meant to like, harm people. But, art for art's sake should be allowed to exist however it needs to exist. That's the point. So I understand, there's plenty of movies and music and whatever that is like hateful and serves to like spread a message that I think is awful. I also have to respect that like art is meant to convey a message in a way that's meaningful to a person. So like I have a hard time, I will choose not to engage with that kind of art. And I would love to have a discussion with people who find that to be something that they like and identify with if it's, horrible to other people. But so, if the creators of the game, and I don't know, right? But if they feel that their art is being altered against their wishes or against their intent, then it doesn't make them right. But I feel sorry for them that's what's happening. Like that's a shame that you have to feel like your art isn't allowed to exist, in the way that you want it to.
And it could, but they would have to get a higher age rating, which obviously the publisher doesn't want. They want to they want the age rating to be at a certain level.
Right. And so, at some point then you guys have to decide what you want, right? You have to decide whether you want to stay, and that's not an easy choice to make, whether you want to stay true to your art or you want to continue to produce what it is that you are producing, which means you're going to have to make some concessions, right? So it's not an easy, again, I don't condone that kind of narrow-mindedness if that's what's happening, to say like, oh, we had to make it woke, whatever. I mean, loosely speaking, but I also respect that is your choice as an artist. And I'm sorry that you're that small-minded, but your art's allowed to exist in the way that you mean for it to exist.
There you go. That's MomBrain's piece. I figured you'd have something to say about this. So yeah, we're at the point where now both sides are feeling like they're vindicated, and like, well, look, there's your proof. This means this. And the other side is like, well, look, there's your proof. This means this. And you're like, so there's no, maybe Square Enix, it hasn't put out a statement because they are working on a statement. They want to make sure they get things right. Or maybe Yuji Horii is working on something. I don't know if they're going to address this further or just try and sweep it under the rug or pretend it never happened. I honestly don't know. But as of where it stands right now, it's not like anything is going to change. And it's not like people are going to hear things and be like, oh, now I am happy. Now I understand. It's just, this is just going to, it's going to do what it does. It's already bubbled over and it'll die down eventually. And then the game will come out and it'll rise back up again.
And what really pisses me off is that right now, at least in my corner of the world that I experience, people spend so much time pointing fingers at how awful the other side is that they aren't left with time to work towards creating a world where their side is more represented, right? Like, so, to be saying like it's so small-minded and they're just backpedaling, whatever, like fine, but your time would be better spent, like, okay, whatever was said, whatever is done. Spend your time making your corner of the world better. Like, we spend so much time trying to like force other people to hear our side that aren't going to hear it, and not enough time on just, okay, so like, what are we doing in my neighborhood, in my corner of the world? What can I do to make myself more educated? What, like,
the site is back, everybody. We are back. I'm finding out what happened right now. I'll tell you if I can. Thanks for hopping on that, Radical Defect. That was great. So T27 Duck, God bless him. He's the one that fixed it up and got everything working. I asked, so this is the whole conversation. I said, GN is broken. And he said, yep, working on it. I said, thanks. I'm doing a podcast right now. Just hit me up when it's fixed. And he said, not sure what happened, but I'm looking into it. And now he says, back. That was weird. And I go, thank you. What happened? And he says, to be honest, F if I know. It's like the site went on strike.
All right.
So he's looking into it.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm typing with him. Yeah, he said he was more focused on getting it back online, and now he's going to figure out what happened. So there you go. Look at that. A problem popped up on GoNintendo in less than 5 minutes. We had it fixed, baby. Does it make me worried? Sure, but I got a great person working on it. So there's that story.
Hey, what happened?
We don't know what happened. I'll keep you updated if I find out what happened. Autumnal Blake has the first comment and says, it's disappointing that they felt they need to make these comments. And then, as you can probably guess, it turns into a shovel fest. And I'll leave that to those who want to grab a shovel. North America, what do we got this week? MomBrain, get ready because you're going to be doing Nikki Hill's job. SpongeBob SquarePants, the Patrick Star Game. Sword Art Online, Fractured Daydream. 1,000 Questions Quiz, National Flag. Oh my God, for R-Type. All You Need Is Help. Animal Kung Fu. Arcade Archives Blast Off. Aura of Worlds. Aura, very popular word right now. Bambi, A Life in the Woods.
Oh dear. Without your parents.
Beard Barians. Block and Shot. Camp Sunshine. Circus of Tim Tim. No idea. Cyberpunk Hacker. Dawn Grown.
Dong Grown?
Dawn. D-O... I'm sorry. D-A-W-N. Destructure Among Debris. Dice Assassins. The PC 8801 Mark II version of Silver Ghost. Flight Simulator Delivery. Cargo Business. Grand Gardens. Hidden in My Paradise. Hide and Seek. Aichu Chibi Edition. Kill Knight. Heard amazing things about Kill Knight. Kill the Crows. Korean Drone Flying Tour Jeju Island 2. Liquidation. Zombie Apocalypse. Macho Shot. Mark of the Deep. Meiji Tokyo.
He's got the Mark of the Deep Min on him.
Meiji Tokyo Renka Full Moon. Monopoly. Necro Story. Necograms. That's like tangrams, but with cats. Night Slashers Remake. Off-Road Quest Simulator. P-Cross. Records of the Shield Hero. Poor Cappuccino 1000. Rogue Sentry. Rolling Football Player. Scoutfold Into the Fray. Sky Oceans Wings for Hire. Spy Guy Detective Games Bundle 3-in-1. Submarine Bubble. Survival Float Simulator. Crocodile Waters Craft Raft Build. The Genie of the Wonderful Lamp. The Super Bunnies. Scarlet Wonder Ninjas. Theme Park Jam. Toucan Adventure Rio de Janeiro. Tower Hover. Urban Skater Skateboard Delivery City Challenge. Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel. Zombie Derby Pixel Survival. And Zombie Slaughter Dead Zone. There you go. Now, MomBrain, you will be playing the part of Nikki Hill. I can send you the link.
Okay.
And as is recent tradition,
You're going to go to the bathroom?
I am going to go to the bathroom. I'm doing it.
What are the next European masterpieces? Let's find out with Nicky's sweet releases.
Good luck, MomBrain. Send it as a text.
Oh. Okie dokie. Give me a minute. I'm one-man show here. Oh boy, this is uncomfortable. It's just me. Hi. The year of our Lord 2024. Here's our European releases. I'm nervous because I'm here all by myself. Don't forget to wash your hands. Okay, what do we got coming out, folks? We've got 1,000 Questions Quiz National Flag. We've got Aro. We have Animal Kung Fu and Bambi, A Life in the Woods. Behold Battle. Block and Shot. Circus of Tim Tim. Thank you, Alternus Liz. Thank you. Also coming out is Cyberpunk Hacker, Damikira, Dawn Grown, Dice Assassin, and Doll Dress Up. That sounds nice. Dreamland Farm, Eki Blast Volume 1, I'm sorry? I can't do it right. Ecchi, God bless you. Blast Volume 1. Egg Console Silver Ghost PC 8801 MK2SR is also coming out. We have Firebat Revolution. Oh, this one's nice. We've got Gallop Glory, Obstacle Racing and Horse Simulator. There's also Grand Gardens, not to be confused with Grey Gardens. There's Ichu Chibi Edition. Insectum, Epic Battles of Bugs. We also have Kill Knight and Korean Drone Flying Tour Jeju Island 2. We have Let's Castle and Light Die to Survive. The ever current and popular Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. We have Meiji Tokyo Renka Full Moon. We have Mine and Slash and Necograms. Also, Parkour Bullet Frenzy, FPS Physics Slow Motion. And Peels of Atlantis The Cove. That's followed by Perfect Klondike Solitaire, P-Cross Records of the Shield Hero, Planetiles, Pour, P-O-U-R, Cappuccino 1000, Renatus, all capital letters. So
That's how they rate it, yeah.
Should I have yelled it?
No.
Okay. Rolling Football Player, Soul Stalker, Survival Float Simulator, Crocodile Waters Craft Raft Build. That sounds scary. The Dawning Clocks of Time remake, The Genie of the Wonderful Lamp, Theme Park Jam, The Super Bunnies, Scarlet Wonder Ninjas, Tower Hover, Turbo Boost Racing, and Zombie Derby Pixel Survival.
Is there a comment there, MomBrain?
There sure is. Comes from Steister. And it says, Nikki, never need another.
Nikki, again, we speak your name. Thank you, MomBrain. Excellent job. 10 out of 10.
Really? Thank you.
Devolver,
Thanks, guys.
Devolver Digital, a company that's released over 50 games on the Switch. Surprise, surprise. Really likes the Switch. And they really like what the system has done for them. And they would like to support the Switch's successor. Devolver Digital's COO, Graham Struthers, spoke to Game Reactor and said, because I'm so stupid. I just checked it. I'm going to go in and fix that right now because I want to. It's one of those days.
I mean, you had all that time while I was hooting and hollering.
All that time for what?
I don't know.
There's an issue with formatting on this, and if you have one space that's out of place, it causes the formatting not to work, and it made something that's supposed to be bold not bold, sadly. I'm trying to fix it now.
Well, I bet you do a great job.
All right, let's check together. Was it fixed? Yes, there we go. Okay, so
Wow.
CEO of Devolver Digital, Graham Struthers, says, quote, I think a lot of people who work at Devolver, as well as a lot of developers who work with Devolver, are fans of Nintendo, from the NES to the Super Nintendo. So working at Nintendo is something that a lot of us have always wanted to do. The Switch, did something that was perhaps against the grain. It wasn't high definition. It was a simple proposition, and that made it much more accessible to indie players. I think it's probably more challenging for AAA to try to work in that space. So I think we've benefited from that as well. I think we've released something like 50 different games on the Switch now. We're excited about whatever Nintendo wants to do next, and we have to wait like everyone else to see what it is. But yeah, we're excited. So I'm pretty sure you'll see some of the games on Switch's successor, maybe even this one. And they were talking about Neva. the second game from Nomada Studio. Nomada did Grease. And Neva's coming out soon. And he's talking about Neva in particular because the developers, Nomada Studio, had previously said that they are interested in bringing Neva to the Switch's successors. So I think it's a done deal at this point. They just can't officially say it, though. So more Devolver digital support on the Switch's successor seems like a lock, an absolute lock. So I'd imagine they'll be there day and date with something, but time will tell. But I'm a big fan of Devolver, so I'm more than happy to hear them showering Nintendo and the Switch with praise and seemingly eager about getting on the next system. Our last top story, we found out that F-Zero, which we talked about once already today, which is crazy, 2 F-Zero stories. We learned about a pair of movies that influenced the developers of F-Zero. Takuya Imamura, who doesn't work at Nintendo anymore, but he was a big part of F-Zero, revealed that he and the director of F-Zero, Kazunobu Shimizu, were fans of 2 movies in particular at that time, and he says those movies influenced the creation of F-Zero. Those movies were Back to the Future Part 2 and Batman. They said they really liked the design of the Batmobile and were really influenced by that. But obviously, the influence from Back to the Future is... it's obviously obvious, as I was going to say. It's about a flying car. The movie has a flying car in it, and F-Zero is about racing flying cars, basically. So they were influenced by the vehicles in both of those movies, which paved the way for F-Zero, the franchise we know and a few people love. I don't want to say we all love because it's not one of Nintendo's more popular franchises, but I love it. We love it, don't we, folks? We love the F-Zero.
Stop.
We love the racing.
Stop.
We love the Captain Falcon. He's a brave captain. It's a whole thing there. That'd be funny. And that's your top stories. MomBrain, let us hear all about
Homescapes.
Homescapes.
Milo Kayla says they're eating the Falcons.
It's true. I've heard that. I saw it on TV.
Homescapes is cozy and lovely, and I've been playing my little heart out while I listen to a new podcast I've been listening to. So it's been fun.
So all your gaming is Homescapes. That's it. Will you ever get back to other games?
Yeah.
You did finish 1000 Resists. That's a big one.
Yeah.
It's nominated for Best Story at the Golden Joystick Award.
Good for them. They deserve it.
I hope they win. They deserve to win.
What about you, Rami? What have you been playing?
Oh, thanks for asking. I've been
Michaels and Nikki Hill, we speak your names.
I've been playing Fortnite. No surprise there. Having fun. I know that Doom event is going on today, but I cannot participate. Yeah, Fortnite's Fortnite. Always fun. Always a great time with friends and family. And I played more UFO 50 because there's so many games in there that I want to sink so much more time into. So I just fire it up and pick randomly because I like so many of the games. But what an amazing experience that is. You've heard me talk about it for the last 2 weeks. Get on it if you have the means of doing so because it's an absolute blast. But I'd be lying if I didn't say the bulk of my time went to Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. As I said, I played traditionally on the TV. I played while I'm on the treadmill. So I have my cell phone mount that is big enough to hold a Switch. And I detach the Joy-Con and keep them at my side while I'm walking on the treadmill. Put in a good couple 90-minute play sessions while I'm on there. The game is fun. The game just keeps getting better and better, man. Like I love it. The gripes I have are so small. Like, going through the menu of Echoes is not elegant, but it's fine. I just sort by the 5 options it gives you rather than going all the way down the line. And between those 5,
a scroll wheel.
I know. Between those 5 options, whatever I want or I'm looking for is like within the first 5 or 6. So I'm good there. And then there's the frame rate issue, which doesn't bother me, but it would certainly be nice. It doesn't bother me at all, but it would be nice if it wasn't there. But outside of that, dungeon design is fantastic. There's some really smart, fun things in there. There's certain things where I'm like, this is a fun way to solve this because you're solving things how you see fit with whatever echoes you have. because there's multiple ways to solve puzzles and multiple echoes that can get the jobs done. There's some really cool uses of bond and bind and reverse bond. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. The characters are great. The music's great. I want to play it all the time, and I never want to stop. I just love it. It's had so many moments where I've just been hit with like that feeling of a Zelda game and that kind of satisfaction I get from a Zelda game. And also, as I said last week, just like childhood, the feeling of my childhood playing a new 2D top-down Zelda is crazy on a TV. You know, we've had handheld ones, but just it's very nostalgic for me. And I'm not blinded by nostalgia because the game is a great game, but it does remind me of something I haven't experienced since my childhood, and I really miss that. Also, I can already tell it's going to give me that feeling I used to get from Zelda games where like you'd rap and the credits would roll and I'd be like, oh.
It's like homesick feeling.
Yeah. Because like I feel that with all Zelda games to a degree, but like it's different with Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild because there's so much more cinematic and so much more like of just that a cinematic experience overall, whereas Echoes of Wisdom is like there's a story to it, but it's very gameplay focused and it's very like humble and it's very like just game centric in its approach, and I love that feeling too. But I will say there are some things going on in the story that I'm like, oh, with something that just happened. I was like, I've been wondering if something was the case so far, and my suspicions have been confirmed partially, but not fully. And I have my fingers crossed that what happens later in the story is what I really hope happens, because there's something I want to see. And I've seen what I think are little visual hints of something, but I may be reading into things too much. But there is one thing that's happened where I was like, I thought that was the case. We'll see what happens. But story-wise, I'm like actually pretty intrigued. So I'm eager to see that and see how things play out. I got a horse now. I'm riding around on a horsey. It's very nice. I love the game. I love the game. Still have not seen the whole map. He's in my office. Still haven't seen a whole map. Just been exploring at my leisure and done more of the Dream Warrior stuff, whatever that thing is called, the Dream Dojo, where you do the. Oh man, I love those. I want a whole game of that. Give me Captain Toad that. Give me Legend of Zelda Captain Toad style, where all I do is the Dream Dojo and the Still World things. That's what I want. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Show me to me, Rachel.
Give it to me, Neil. I want. Oh, I love those portions of the game so much. Just give me like 80 of each kind, and I'm all about it. I'm a sucker. I'll buy it all. I love it. It's like the shrines in
of the Silver Monkey,
Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom. I love it. I love it so much. Also, MomBrain, you know how I talk to you about cats?
Yeah.
And how cats are all over?
Yeah.
There's something more to cats. I did something cat related.
Biscuits?
I do not want to tell you what it was.
Okay.
But I will tell you that you are going to scream your head off and you're going to declare it the best Zelda game of all time.
You know, we just watched the trailer not that long ago for the new Paddington movie, and I really do feel that like I don't know that I can handle seeing it in the theater because I think I might explode the whole time.
We're not going to see it. This could be the first one we're going to see in the theater.
I know, I will, but like I feel I'm getting that same vibe of like I'm not going to be able to contain myself. I'm going to have to scream about it
in the theater, right?
Yeah.
It's next month.
Yeah.
Why are you sounding disappointed about this?
Because I'm going to have to scream about it, and I won't be able to.
Scream. Who cares? Sorry, I was taking a drink. Yeah, I've been so looking forward. That's like my next future thing that I'm looking forward to. Like, that's the big thing down the line where I'm like, can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Radical Defect says, have I seen a trailer for Flow coming this December? I don't know that I've seen it. I'm gonna have to. Can you drop a link in the Discord, please? So that's what I played this week. That's it. Hey, MomBrain.
Yeah.
Do you know you could send questions to GoNintendo? Got you.
Where?
What is it? GoNinPodcast@gmail.com.
Where?
GoNinPodcast@gmail.com. They can be about Nintendo video games in general or whatever the hell you want. Bmorri sent in a question and they ask, "Hello, podcast. I've started making candles recently.
Ooh.
What are your favorite scents to smell? I personally love vanilla and fig leaf. Gasoline, freshly laid asphalt, Play-Doh." MomBrain, you answered. I got real answers, but you go ahead. I'd love a Play-Doh smelling candle, to tell you the truth. That's an honest answer. But MomBrain, favorite scents for candles? Or I guess it just says favorite scents to smell, but if you want it in a candle, then.
If we're talking candles, I tend to lean more towards earth, spice. There's some floral stuff that I like, but it's usually like herbaceous, not like sweet florals. I'm not a big sweet scent person. I don't like I'm not a big fan of vanilla. It can be very like cloying and syrupy, and I don't like that. So a lot of what I like pick tends to be more like bergamot, lavender.
You said earth. What the hell? What do you mean, dirt?
Like earthy smells. Like earthy. I don't know.
You want to tell everybody about your spice soup?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I keep a simmer pot. I've always kept a simmer pot, but I just bought, instead of doing it on the stove, like a little crock pot to just keep it in. So right now in it is bay leaf, cinnamon stick, and whole cloves.
And she boils it all day just like a witch to make it smell nice in here.
Like a witch.
I'm sure like ward off some spirits or something. I don't know what you're doing. Do whatever you want. We make the damn spice soup all the time. We never eat it.
You want to eat the spice soup? You could eat the spice soup. Wouldn't hurt you.
As far as smells that I like, I don't know. I do like vanilla, like MomBrain. Unlike MomBrain, I like lemon. I like mint. I like cinnamon. I like lavender a lot. I like one of those fresh laundry candles. I love those. I like bergamot. But I legit do like Play-Doh as a smell. I would love that as a candle. Would you like that as a candle?
I don't know as a candle.
Oh, it's so good. I'm smelling it right now. So good. MomBrain, we also have a Patreon. Did you know you could join the GoNintendo Patreon?
For $1.
For $1.
I did.
Just $1. And you can drop a question in our special question section. And that's what TayterTot and Spud did.
Well, TayterTot's entertaining a lady today on the patio with some homemade pizzas.
And the podcast, right? Of course.
Yeah.
TayterTot and Spud here. What are your go-to snacks and drinks? Well, this could not be more perfect timing. What are your favorite what are your go-to snacks and drinks
Drax and Sninks
to the movies? Our regular order is popcorn with butter and cherry cokes. Additional question: do your snacks change for in-home movie watching? Take care. You guys take care. MomBrain, what are your go-to movie snacks and drinks?
A big crispy Diet Coke is a definite. Although at our movie theater, I have more often than not, because it's in the evening, I'll like make a coffee at home and bring it with me, which is really nice. They serve coffee there, but it's not good. And as far as a snack, you can't go wrong with popcorn. Buttered popcorn. I mean, it's just fantastic. I also am inclined to do a junior mint, or
you do love a junior mint.
Yeah, or
Twizzlers.
Yeah, a Twizzler or a peanut butter M&M. And that's pretty much that.
I was never against peanut butter M&Ms. Just never really got them. But MomBrain's been getting them lately. Man, really, Should have been paying closer attention to those. They're great.
Yeah, they are great.
I don't really get food at the movie theater because it's so expensive. It makes me mad. But in the past, when I have gotten stuff, I was never really one for popcorn. I do like it, but the amount of times I would go and get a bag of popcorn is very few and far between. I mean, like MomBrain, can you even remember the last time you saw me do that?
No.
And I wouldn't really. If I'm getting a drink, like it's been so long since I've ordered a drink at the movie. I'm talking like over a decade easy, if not 2 decades. I don't get drinks at the movies because they're too expensive. If I was going to get one, or when I did get one back in the day, it was just like a Pepsi or a Coke. That was it. The one thing I used to get at the movie theater before it got so ungodly expensive was candy. And I would go, well, MomBrain, you tell me. There's one candy I would always get.
The cookie dough bites.
The cookie dough bite is correct. I used to always get the cookie dough bite. I've done Junior Mints before, and I've done Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces.
Did we ever tell the story about Nikki Hill
But I
at
haven't.
the movie with Junior Mints?
We must have. But we haven't. I haven't gotten candy in forever, and I don't think I ever will again because it's too expensive. MomBrain literally got a bag of popcorn and a soda yesterday.
A small bag of popcorn, which is the size of like a lunch bag, like a brown paper lunch bag,
and a soda.
and a small soda, which was not small, but
$13 and change. $13. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I know this is nothing new, but that just furthers the point of why I will never get food at the movie theater.
Yeah, in our movie theater, you can get like chicken nuggets and all kinds of stuff, which is I've never done
alcohol.
that, and I don't know, movie theater like.
And MomBrain, for some reason, they had Chester Cheetos popcorn, and she did not get it. The people behind us got it. You know why? Because they were smart.
Well, it's just, it's like real messy. And
you're eating popcorn where you dumped the butter on it.
And it's dark, and I don't know. I wasn't for it yesterday. I don't know. It wasn't in the cards for me.
Roth says small bag snacks are good, like combos. We love combos, combinations. We just had just straight regular combos the other day.
The cheddar cheese pretzel ones.
Cheddar cheese pretzel. I love a lot of the combos. I actually might prefer the cracker cheddar cheese combos over the pretzel.
I like the pretzel.
I love them both, but there's something about the cracker one that I really like. Pizzeria pretzel, I love it. There's other flavors I'm blanking on them, but I love a combo. Radical Defects likes Funyuns. We have a friend who is big into Funyuns. Huge.
So in college,
there's a new Funyun something that's
I've seen them. I think they're like
was it just mini Funyuns?
Spicy or something. Like
yeah, maybe that's.
Oh, and they had the smaller Pringles too, like puffy Pringles, I think. In college, my friend Lisa and I would study
Funyuns
with Funyuns, and every time we got through a page in a textbook, we would have a Funyun.
Funyuns are fine. I'm not against them, but it's not one I'd ever really go for. All right, we get it. Thank you. We get it. I love a barbecue chip. I love a ranch chip. I love just a nacho cheese chip. I love a Taki. I love a salt and vinegar. I didn't really eat salt and vinegar. I've had it before and it was okay. I don't know what.
I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?
Are you finished?
I don't know.
I never had anything against salt and vinegar, but in recent years, I've just they're the greatest chip to me now. Like now that I'm talking about them, I want them right now.
I know. Now that you're talking about them, I want them.
So we'll go to the local place right here and get some.
We got a pay-per-view coming on, a premium live event coming on.
I mean, like less than 5 minutes away place we'll go.
Okay.
And the premium live event starts when we start it.
Okay.
Peanut butter filled pretzel bites. MomBrain says no. Backseat Studios. The correct answer is yes. I love them. Love them. Definitely on board with that. Every time we go to see, that's the problem. When we go to Costco, they have Kirkland's signature giant tub of peanut butter filled pretzel bites. but MomBrain doesn't eat them, and I do. So I can't justify getting the giant tub because it would take so long to get through. If we both ate them, then I'd be all about it. Drake likes crunchy whatsits. I don't know what a whatsit is.
Yeah.
I've heard of them. I know it's I believe it's a British thing. Maybe it's an Australian thing, or maybe it's both. But yeah, we could have a snack podcast. You guys know that we talk about food pretty often. We did the Patreon question. We did the regular question. We don't have music, and we don't have any dues, views, rumor. So, what's it is like a cheese puff, says Drake. Well, then I'm on board.
Yeah, me too.
So that's it, everybody. We're done here. What are we at? Yeah, a solid 2-hour show.
We did it.
We did it. I mean, mostly I did it, but we did it.
I did the releases.
I'm joking.
Oh,
I'm playing F nuts with you.
okay.
A good power couple show, says Radical Defect. There
That's
you
us.
go. There you go. And I gave my teaser for next week, so be here. MomBrain, I think, has an after show something to talk about. What we did last night. I'm sure you would want to say something without spoilers.
Sure.
Okay. Then that's it, everybody. Stay tuned for MomBrain's after show. But as for the regular show, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Very exciting. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
All right, MomBrain. After show.
Last night, we went to go see the film The Substance. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
I think people might be looking for a little bit more.
It was so
For those who don't know,
yeah, so
what is The Substance
I
on a
don't
very
know.
basic level?
You because I'll spoil
Okay,
something.
it's about a lady who is feeling bad about being older, and she finds out that there's this thing called the substance that you can basically inject in your body, and it makes a younger version of yourself. And your younger version lives a week and you live a week, and your younger version lives a week and you live a week, and you have to trade off of each other. But you are not two separate people. You are the same person. You are one. And that's what the movie's about. Perfect, Ross.
Ooh, Salad Master Link. Okay. If you have a coughing spell because you're getting fluid in the lungs, take a deep breath in through your nose, into the lungs, not the diaphragm, and exhale through the mouth. Interesting. Okay, so
You got it, Blood Ocean.
I went into the movie not knowing anything about it, except that our cousin was like, you guys have to go see it. And
I was very much aware of the movie. I had seen the trailer. I was interested. I just didn't think MomBrain would be interested. And it's not easy to find showings around here. It'll be like one showing a day at all the local theaters, and it's like at 2:00 or 4:00. So we just couldn't do that. But there happened to be one at 9:00 last night, so we did that.
It was so. It addressed so many feelings and experiences that I have as a woman who is like also sort of on the cusp, right? I'm not considered to be like young anymore.
What they call my sister on TikTok?
What is the word?
Yeah.
Over the
whatever. Yeah, it's something for ladies who are past a certain age and have no more use, basically.
Like over the wall or over like something.
Drake says, so it's like Severance, but you remember what the other does. You
I
don't
thought about
remember what the
Severance.
other does. You don't know what the other does. Like, you don't know what the other does unless you happen to see what they're doing. Like when if they were to
Yeah.
leave you a note or something, then you know what they're doing.
No, Drake Gamer, it's not over the hill.
Yeah, that sounded like mean. No, Drake. There's a specific term used by incels. I forget what it is.
So, I'm in my early 40s, right? So, like, I guess technically, like midlife, right?
I think that's it, Darmani. Yeah.
So, and I like tend to be the kind of person who like tries to look critically at like, you know, why things are the way they are. And like, I try to always remember, like, we made all of this up. Like, you know, there's no rule that says you have to do this or be that, or like, right. Like we kind of allow these things to just perpetuate. Right. So
Don't get too much into spoiler territory here.
okay. So I just found the way that the film in its entirety, like the visuals, the sound, the story, all of it laid out in a way that any single part of it probably couldn't accurately, an experience that I have. Like it just, there was a lot of really, it just, I don't know, it just felt very validating to watch the movie and like see what happened. And it's not the kind of vehicle that you would think that message would come from. It was very unexpected for me. Like I didn't know that that's where we were going with it. And I don't ever want to see it again. It was a lot, but I like definitely, you know, I think it changed me a little bit. And I really loved it.
Solmaster Link, I'm not a front row movie theater guy. We're going to see Look Back tomorrow, and I didn't expect people would be going to see it, so we got tickets later, and the only thing that was left were the first 2 rows, so we're second row. When we saw Avengers
Oh yeah.
Endgame,
Yep.
we were front row just because that's the way it worked
And there
out.
were like kids there sitting on the floor in
Yeah.
front of, it was great. It was great.
But yeah, I'd rather all the way in the back, in the middle, or off to the side. That's where we were last night, all the way in the back, off to the side.
Yeah.
But yes, the movie is, if anyone is looking to see it, it's very much R-rated. It's very gory. It's a body horror. It's very lots of nudity in it. Lots and lots of nudity. So you gotta just be prepared for blood and guts and nudity. We're pretty light on cursing. There's a little bit of cursing, but not a lot.
But a lot of nudity. Female.
A lot of,
nudity.
yes, only, well, there's a guy butt.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of nudity, lots of gore, lots of things akin to body horror. So be forewarned. And MomBrain saying she would never see it again, but not because she didn't like it. It's just one. It's like me and Grave of the Fireflies. Love that movie. Own that movie. Life-changing movie. Would never watch it again, just because it's that traumatic. But as for me, I did like the movie, but I was disappointed in it because I was hoping it would. What I got from the trailer is exactly what the movie gave me, and I was hoping it would give me more. So I guess that's a me problem versus a movie problem. But you know, when I see a trailer, I form an idea of the movie, and just because a movie is different from what the trailer is, doesn't upset me. I am intrigued by that. But when I see a trailer and I'm like, I think the movie's going to be like this and do this, and then that's exactly what the movie does, I'm like, oh, all right. And I guess that's like a me thing. I shouldn't be upset or miffed or annoyed by that. But I just, with what this movie is doing and what this movie is aiming at, what this movie is trying to say, it does so very well. But I just wished it did it more and in a way I wasn't expecting, I guess. I don't know. But not a bad movie at all, and one that will certainly bring about tons of discussion. And I guarantee it is a movie that people will see, and the multiple messages in the movie will fly way over their head. And we saw that last night when the movie ended by what some of the people were saying in the theater, because they did not take away anything from it other than the body horror and
They were
how
like, they must have been on acid
how
when
crazy
they made
it
this.
was. So yeah, so there you go.
And the part that they were talking about moved me so much that I cried. So like they took that it was an acid trip, and it certainly was, you know, fantastical. But they did not take away from it what I took away from it.
There you go. That's the substance. Thank you, MomBrain.
If anybody else sees it, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
And that's all we got, my friends. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Play some games. Hang out with friends and family. Rest, relax. You deserve it. We will see you next week. MomBrain, you got to do the kiss goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.